because this shift in seasons can illuminate where our habits and ways of being have been relying on the structure and routine outside of us. It can show us where we haven't fully committed or haven't fully integrated this habit or this way of being if we're still relying on the structural season for us to follow through on it. I don't need to tell you this, but I'm going to. Your personal habits and ways of being, those things that you fear getting off track with or falling off the bandwagon, those things should not be dependent on the structure or routine of the season.
Welcome to Breakthrough Mode, the podcast where we intentionally get into the driver's seat of our lives, shift out of monotony and mediocrity, and step on the gas towards becoming the person we were always meant to become.
Hello and welcome to episode 273 on the Breakthrough Mode podcast. I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's episode. Today, we are wrapping up our second week of our Summer Shift series, and we have been focused on being. I don't have to tell you, you already know. Summer gives you the invitation for slower days, for play, for rest, for spontaneity. And because we are high-functioning, high-achieving people who want to get things done and accomplish things and reach our goals, we also fear losing progress, falling out of routines, getting off track, losing momentum or even motivation, becoming inconsistent again, or even abandoning ourselves and what's important to us. There are two things to recognize here. The first is that there are structures, systems, routines that are absolutely attached to a season. So this is something like driving to my kids' school. That is absolutely attached to school being in session, as is the system and routine of waking them up in the morning or even doing laundry over the weekends. Over the summer, I love getting that done, especially the girls' laundry during the week and not having that land on a weekend like it always does by necessity when school is in. There are systems and routines that are 100% attached to a season. And there are habits and ways of being that are not attached to a season. So when we fear that we are going to fall off the bandwagon or get off track because we are transitioning into summer, that is information. That is telling you something, because this shift in seasons can illuminate where our habits and ways of being have been relying on the structure and routine outside of us. It can show us where we haven't fully committed or haven't fully integrated this habit or this way of being if we're still relying on the structural season for us to follow through on it. I don't need to tell you this, but I'm going to. Your personal habits and ways of being, those things that you fear getting off track with or falling off the bandwagon, those things should not be dependent on the structure or routine of the season. I'm not worried that when school starts, I won't be able to get my kids up in the morning, that I'll have fallen off the bandwagon, or I'll forget to go pick them up, or, we won't remember to do laundry on the week. I'm not worried about it because I know that once we fall into that school rhythm, that school routine, it will just come up again. The things that I worry about are the things that maybe I'm not fully committed to right now. Will I still meditate every day? Will I make that a priority every day when my girls are home? Will I choose to go to the pool instead of take time for myself? What about my planning routine? Will I still make the time to sit down and plan out every month and every week? Or will that feel rushed? Will I feel pressured? Will I abandon it and really just, you know, fly by the seat of my pants all summer long until that fall routine hits again. Those are the things that I'm worried about because right now they are absolutely attached to the structure and routine of school being in session. I know that on Monday mornings, it's planning morning, it's planning day. I sit down, I plan the week or I plan the month or whatever's appropriate. But come that first Monday of summer, will I make that a priority? Will I put other things aside so that I can get that done? Will that still be part of how I show up to my day, to my week, to my work? Those are the things that we fear falling off the bandwagon for, getting off track. So you need to ask yourself, what do you want attached to a season? And maybe, and this isn't the case for me, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Like maybe I really do just fly by the seat of my pants all summer long and I don't take the time to plan. I can't actually feel into the vibe of that because that's making me itchy. But besides that, you can choose which things are attached to a season. There's no right or wrong. This is all about how you want to show up. This is about your personal habits. This is about your ways of being and acknowledging that the things that you want to be a part of your way of being, a part of how you show up, a part of how you live your life, cannot be dependent on the season. This is one of the reasons why I love starting new habits and new goals in the holidays. Because I'm like, if I can stick with this throughout the chaos that is the holidays, this is going to be so easy come January when everything settles down. Because I'm already putting myself in the position of this isn't attached to this season. This season is going to go by. The chaos is going to eventually go away, and I am going to eventually calm down and find space. And if I can actually hold on to this habit throughout the holidays, I know I've done it because the holidays is nuts. So you get to choose what's attached to a season, a rhythm, a routine, and what is part of who you are and part of how you show up, how you do life. So this week, the focus is what actions, habits, and behaviors tie you to who you want to be, right? Who you want to be inside of this wonderful summer container, and summer is eventually going to end. So of course, consider who it is you want to be on the other side of summer, because there are tons of options available here for you. I could decide, should I want to, that I don't publish the podcast over the summer, that maybe all of my content is through email. I could make that choice. That doesn't feel good to me, but it's a choice that actually a lot of podcasters make. They record in seasons and they're like, this is this season and this is this season. And I don't know, I never really felt called to do that, so I didn't do it. And there's a entrepreneur that I follow who establishes summer hours. So her business operates differently during the summer. Their availability hours are different during the summer because she and her whole team have kids and their priorities have changed. Like we've mentioned, the priorities of summer get to be different. So you get to have summer hours. You get to have summer tasks, summer behaviors, a way that you show up differently simply because it's summer. That can absolutely be attached to a season. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. And I want you to acknowledge here that anything that you feel this fear of losing momentum over, those are the things that are probably habits, actions, behaviors, ways of being that you actually do want to continue over the summer. That fear of loss is telling you the level of importance. Like I said, I'm not scared that I'm going to forget to pick up my kids when school starts in the fall. I know that I'll do it. It'll be fine. I don't have that fear of loss over that routine because I don't. Anything that you experience that fear of loss over is telling you that this is probably something that you should consider continuing all summer long. So, the first thing that I encourage you to do is to set a baseline minimum on your habits, your ways of being, the ways that you show up. This is kind of like a touch point of like, okay, I might want to sleep in the mornings. So, how am I going to do that and have my early morning ritual? I've solved this question already in my life because I truly love to sleep. It's one of my favorite things. And even more than sleeping, I love to sleep when the sun is up. So sometimes I will get up at 4:35 in the morning. I will run through my whole routine. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, before anyone else has gotten up, I will go back to bed. And so I feel like I get to honor my ritual and my routine, and I get to answer that invitation of summer to have a slow morning, to sleep with the sun up, and to have that joy of summertime. But I've decided on that baseline habit. I'm going to get up, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to write, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to read, I'm going to do all of that. And I still get to enjoy slow summer mornings. I get to do both. So, what does that look like for you? Whatever your habit is, whatever the thing is that you want to maintain the momentum of throughout the summer, what is that minimum baseline? And then once you have that minimum baseline, make it non negotiable. This is what you're going to do to maintain that momentum because it's important to you, come hell or high water. This is the minimum. This is what we're doing, non negotiable, and hold yourself to it because by the end of the summer, you will be so glad that you had this baseline that you kept to. And then, of course, if you want to, then you can turn up the intensity, but you haven't lost anything. You've maintained all summer long so that in the fall, when it feels right, you can turn up the intensity. The second thing is to establish enough structure to support you. One of the invitations of summer, of course, is this unstructured time, this spontaneity. However, you need just enough structure that you feel supported in continuing to maintain the things that are important to you, the habits that are important to you, the way you show up, you being who you want to be. And then the third step is to communicate your priorities and your expectations clearly. My girls know that the podcast is important to me. I've told them that, and I've shown up in a way that it has been important to me. And so they know when I come downstairs to record, we've got an expectation that they're not going to be wild animals. They're not going to run all over the house, specifically above me. They're not going to yell. They're not going to scream. And then they also know that at the end of recording, we do something for them. We'll go to the pool, we'll ride our bikes, we'll go to the park, we'll go get a soda, whatever it is. They know that at the end of mom taking care of what she wants to take care of, there's something in it for them. But I have communicated that clearly, and that gets to support you as well. When the people around you who love you know what's important to you and know how to support you, they will support you. So, really, those are the three keys to maintaining this momentum, especially for the habits, the behaviors, the ways of being that are important to you, that you want to continue showing up in that way. The first one is, of course, to maintain a minimum baseline. The second one is to set up enough structure to support you. And the third one is to communicate that clearly with those around you, with those that are going to take part. Okay, we touched on this a little bit because I got really excited, but just as summer gives you an invitation, it also gives you the gift of creating your own summer rhythm. and you get to create your own summer hours, just like this entrepreneur did for herself and for her team. You get to create these summer hours intentionally. And I invite you to protect the things, the habits that protect you, the habits that protect your emotional stability, the habits that connect you to who you want to become, and the habits that support your personal work. Whatever it is that you do, that you feel called to do, that call isn't going to take a break over the summer. And when we take a break on our calling, we end up feeling really bad about it in the fall. So protect the things that protect you. Allow this summer to have some messy consistency. Allow for recalibration. Allow for flexibility, because we often lose momentum more from shame spirals than from actually missing a day. If you miss a day, you miss a day. It's okay. Pick it back up tomorrow. It's going to be fine. Allow yourself that. This focus creates identity-based momentum that honors the invitation of summer and who you want to be. You can stay on track and have slower days at the same time. It just takes some intentionality, which, if you've been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, you're getting pretty good at. That's what I have for you today. I will be in your inbox tomorrow, and then we will wrap up our Summer Shift series next week. I totally love you. Bye for now.